had nothing to hide.
Modulace is a VRChat content creator on YouTube known for troll-style videos, whose behavior has sparked recent controversy in the community. There have been serious allegations online about Modulace. In this video, we'll look at what's been claimed, what evidence is public, and why people are concerned. The adult creator is facing very serious allegations of engaging with and consuming explicit artwork featuring underage characters, posting and stitching videos that fetishize animals, and mobilizing her audience to harass other creators. Before we start, I want to clear up a common misconception about this case. Creator Ergblad did not present the evidence to me. Ratgrave brought this case to my attention, and I agreed to investigate. I spent about 2 weeks reviewing the material, cross-checking evidence, and putting everything together. To make matters more complicated, many of the older accounts and usernames connected to this creator Modulace are now gone. In a response video to the allegations, Modulace confirms she intentionally deleted all of their other accounts. For example, here's a clip of her confirming all of these other aliases are in fact Modulace.
My online presence was completely public. My British VA name was openly linked to my older furry username. I had nothing to hide.
Let's start at the beginning. Under the name British Zhao on Discord, Modulace originally reached out to me through creator Ratgrave, asking for help in exposing someone she described as a predator. Looking back now, I suspect this may have been an attempt to divert attention from herself, though that is just personal interpretation. At the time there wasn't enough evidence to move the case forward, so I stopped communicating with British Zhao, but the name had stayed in the back of my mind. Months later, I was suddenly made aware of a series of allegations against Modulace from Daniel Ackerman and several other creators. After reading through some of these claims which were being made under Modulace's new identity, I went directly to British Zhao for clarification. Instead of answering my questions there, they asked me to add them on their new Discord account under the Modulace name. Here's what Modulace told me. Their position was that Daniel had a personal grudge against them. However, this doesn't match what Daniel told me in our own conversation. Daniel said he acted because there was always a negative aura surrounding Modulace, and that he just simply followed his instincts, and in doing so, he uncovered many troubling facts about Modulace. In return, Modulace was upset by Daniel Ackerman's digging and sent her audience to harass him.
Yo, why'd you accuse Modulace of being a gooner? Why'd you accuse Modulace of being a gooner?
Yeah, man, why? Please.
Why'd you do that?
Please.
That was such a gooner move, dude. We know what you did.
Yeah, man, why would you do that, man? That's not cool, dude.
Yo, Daniel Ackerman, speak to us. Why are you going on Pred websites?
On Pred website, speak to us now.
The people defending Modulace now are largely the same ones as before, despite Modulace openly admitting to what happened.
Another point raised by Celestia is that I interacted with bully content by replying to this specific Twitter post. To be clear, I didn't recognize the characters nor their ages, or that the artwork was considered bully before I commented the meme that I did. That said, not knowing doesn't make my response to the post acceptable. I'm responsible for what I post and how it's received, regardless of intent or the time that's passed. In this case, I exercised poor judgment, and I sincerely apologize.
It's as if the actual cub and underage explicit content stops being a concern once it's produced and consumed by someone they like, but that mindset is a serious problem. Modulace was an active member of the furry fandom when they were younger, under the confirmed alias of Tundras that we mentioned earlier. Though it appears they're not in the furry fandom anymore, Modulace had some questionable friends at the time who had suggested that they get into adult sites like Fur Affinity and Ink Bunny. Modulace was 18-2 at the time of these accounts being created, and nobody should be exposed to or furry cub content, especially at a young age. They truly just shouldn't have been exposed, but it's an early example of the kind of material that escalated into more disturbing content in Modulace's adult years. The screenshot I showed earlier was a bunch of collective images by an artist named Sugarless Paints, the cub artist. As of my previous video, Sugarless Paints has renamed the category. I can't show it in full because it's explicit, and some people had asked me why I blurred this site. I blurred it for the safety of my audience. Let's talk about how we connect Modulace and aliases. Although we have verbal confirmation from Modulace herself, it's important to show how these accounts link together so you can assess it for yourself. If you look at their old YouTube channel, Tundras, you'll find a music playlist titled Zhao Radio. There's also a casting club account named British VA that links back to Tundra's Discord. To further back this up, we archived British VA's Reddit activity, where that account explicitly states that they are British Zhao. A large number of British VA's Reddit posts have been automatically deleted by a tool known as redact.dev, a tool that allows you to erase your old messages from multiple platforms online. This tells us that Modulace was very much aware of the allegations and suspicions, actively purging their old messages.
It's only after I began receiving harassment, doxing threats, and a resurfacing of private photos that I started locking things down. That's called protecting your privacy, not hiding guilt.
Also, for a brief break, here is Modulace's World of Warcraft profile, where they call themselves Mommy with the same British Zhao name. It also confirms for us that they're currently 26 years of age. Under the alias of British VA, Modulace was posting a large amount of explicit content. These posts are all fairly recent, roughly 6 months to 2 years ago, when they would have been around 24 to 26 years of age. Their posts referenced adult content, including explicit themes of hypnosis, sleep, enslavement, and sadly unconsensual acts. On the topic of hypnosis, Modulace under the name of British Zhao was an active member of the VRChat hypnosis group and even took part in that group's ID checks. This involvement is notable because they later claimed that they were mainly just there to troll VRChat folks who were interested in hypnosis. I need to address a particularly serious topic, the allegations that Modulace engaged in stitched and posted animal-themed fetish content. In the past, Modulace uploaded a few short videos on TikTok and YouTube, and one of them parodies a popular meme but replaces the punchline with a slur implying someone has had explicit contact with dogs. It's clearly meant to be an edgy joke because they're a fursuiter, but it doesn't come across as funny. Instead, it's just disturbing and strange. Now, one of the most troubling examples comes from TikTok. Modulace posted a video using footage from another creator who had filmed the back end of a real horse. In her edit, she pretends to be hypnotized by the clip and says twice, "Get me that horse."
Next, he refers to a TikTok I posted years ago, claiming it was zoo was somehow related to hypnosis. That claim is completely false.
Sir. Sir? You're right, sir? Yeah, what?
And there is no evidence to suggest so.
In her response video, Modulace tries to brush this off as just a parody of a meme, but the original meme didn't involve explicit shots of animals' bodies being reacted to in this way. Modulace's version takes it much further.
The video was an edited parody of a popular meme at the time, specifically the "Get Me That Fish" meme format.
Sir! Grab me that fish.
But sir, this is a catch and release day.
The fish has been caught.
Yes.
Well, where should I release?
Sir, stop bringing baby oil.
Grab me that fish.
They frame it as making fun of zoo cows, but given their existing interest in cub and animal-styled characters, it's hard not to see a pattern here. Modulace even marked the TikTok as NSFW, which shows that they understood how the video would be interpreted. And that TikTok isn't an isolated incident. For years across the internet, Modulace has been posting NSFW artwork of their own personas with other characters. Ultimately, the most serious allegation, things take an even darker turn. The most serious concerns involve content featuring underage characters. Not too long ago on Twitter under the name Tundra's, Modulace, who was in their early 20s at the time, interacted with an image featuring two clearly underage characters from an anime titled Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. Both are canonically underage in the series. Following this discovery, another creator named Roar decided to have a conversation and confront Modulace.
But this one, it's a little iffy. Like,
Okay, yikes, dude.
you can see how that looks bad, right?
Yeah, I can see how that looks fucking horrendous, bro. I want to see that context.
Like
really
the picture?
quick. No, I don't want to see the fucking picture. I'm just trying to understand if I was replying to a comment.
No, it's a reply to the tweet
Well,
itself.
it says I'm replying to the post, but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that fucking looks gross.
Modulace said they were confused and didn't know how to respond, but in their eventual response video, Modulace does acknowledge wrongdoing while also claiming that they couldn't have known the characters in question were underage.
To be clear, I didn't recognize the characters nor their ages, or that the artwork was considered before I commented the meme that I did. That said, not knowing doesn't make my response to the post acceptable.
That's hard to accept given her long history of engaging with media that features underage characters, both when she was younger and now as an adult. I didn't know isn't a credible defense in this context, especially when you can search Steam ID Checker using a tool that tracks past Steam usernames and avatars. You can see that Modulace themselves previously used an icon from the Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid anime. That makes it hard to accept the claim that they had no idea what the show was about or how old the characters actually were. Another very concerning point I had not brought up prior was as follows. This response Modulace had made to a creator who creates specifically childlike explicit content related to art on Twitter. This was back in 2022 on August 9th, making Modulace 23 years old at the time of consuming this underage content. Again, in a second instance, we find Modulace indulging in cub/content. Top of that, Modulace has made posts about wanting to be a puppy girl and being kept on a leash, which adds to the overall pattern of just weird behavior. This is and was all public information from the Wayback Machine. Recently, Modulace posted a video responding to the allegations I raised in a previous video about harmful behaviors in parts of the VRChat trolling community. In her response, she says that creator Herbal and I harassed and doxed her.
For about 2 months now, I've been harassed, my identity has been leaked, and even my private photos have been circulated online. Throughout all of this, misinformation and distortions have been spread unchecked.
I want to take a look at these claims and go through the publicly available evidence, talk about how words like harassment, doxing, and private photos are used online. The goal here is to help viewers think critically about situations like this, not to encourage a dogpile on anyone or any creator. With that context, let's look at one of the key points in Modulace's response. They say,
and even my private photos have been circulated online.
It's important to be clear about what private actually means here. From what I've seen in behalf of me and my team, the only photos being shared are the ones that were previously posted on Modulace's public X or Twitter account. Sharing screenshots of public posts is not the same thing as genuinely leaking private material, and confusing those two can mislead viewers about how serious a situation actually is. When people use the word doxing, they are usually talking about exposing information that was never meant to be public, things like a legal name, home address, phone number, workplace, family members, often to make it easier to harass or threaten someone. In this case, we are not sharing that kind of information. I've even gone out of my way to blur your personal information. We are referencing usernames and posts that Modulace themselves publish to a public audience, and that are still accessible through normal means of web archives, even if they were later deleted. Deleting something years later doesn't turn it into secret information retroactively. Understandably, someone might want to scrub their old accounts to hide things, but resurfacing public posts for the purpose of commentary and accountability is not the same as digging up and broadcasting their real-world identity. Remember, the internet is forever. In my view, there was one specific part of her video that didn't get much attention from her audience: the apology for child-related content, likely because viewers were focused on the other allegations she made about different creators later in the video. This can happen a lot in drama content when multiple claims are presented at once. Some get amplified while others are just simply overlooked. And sometimes it's done deliberately to just shift the narrative.
And may I remind you that Raw, Ginge, and the others are associated with Cesspool, yet still harass me in VRChat, Discord, or other platforms. This behaviour is inexcusable for someone who presents himself as holding a high standard. Cesspool's choice to ally himself with such individuals speaks volumes.
I did not ally with these people, nor do I get along with most of the people in this group. Most of these creators hate my guts but refuse to admit it because I shed light on the Osai situation. I investigated with my team because I knew you had done awful and vile things. All of the creators see eye to eye with that. You quite literally pulled this out of backcrap nowhere, pretending like you know what you're talking about, but you don't. And I don't condone harassment, period. In response, Modulace also claims that the content we blurred in my original video wasn't NSFW or suggestive. I disagree, and I want to explain why we treated it that way. As a creator, I have a responsibility not to expose my audience, especially younger viewers, to inappropriate material. I also have to follow YouTube's TOS, or Terms of Services and Community Guidelines, as I do for every video. That's why I blurred the site and avoided showing it directly. The goal was to keep viewers safe and stay within platform rules, not to hide or twist evidence. While we're on the topic of Modulace response and keeping viewers safe, there's a comment thread under that very video that's worth looking at. A viewer asks, "I'm still waiting on that mommy ASMR, Modulace." Modulace replies playfully, "Some say we're still waiting." Another commenter then directly below this points out that this viewer making this remark is 20-7. That exchange isn't illegal on its own, but it's just deeply inappropriate when you're an adult creator and you're actively playing into explicit jokes from an underage viewer, especially in a community already under scrutiny for boundary issues. It sends exactly the wrong message about what kind of behavior is acceptable. The point here isn't to hypnotize or mislead my audience, it's to show what is publicly visible and let you judge for yourself. When someone deletes large parts of their online history after criticism starts, it can look a lot less like harassment and more like people having legitimate concerns, checking those concerns against public info. Finally, Modulace mentions insults from other creators. I'm not here to defend every word anyone else has said about them. This video is focused on the behavior, the evidence we can verify, and what it means in terms of community safety and platform rules. In the end, Modulace chose to remove or hide a lot of the material that we've gone over and to act as if it never existed. But that doesn't erase the fact that over time, this person interacted with explicit content involving underage characters, animals, and that this behavior continued into adulthood. Nothing I've shown here is taken out of context. It's been organized from public posts and archives so you can see the pattern for yourself. Because some of the material we found may fall under laws related to explicit content involving underage individuals and animals, we have forwarded our documentation in a police report to a confirmed local PD, also to the NCMEC. This video isn't just about one creator, it's about what we as a community do when someone like this is linked to harmful content. The creators we admire online are still just people, and sometimes their actions don't match the image they present. When that happens, it's important to look at the evidence, not just emotions or loyalty. If you're someone who feels the need to defend the people I cover or attack me and others over this, I'd rather you focus that energy on the actual issues, keeping the youth safe, understanding why content like this is dangerous, and learning how to report it properly through the platform's tools. You don't have to turn this into a witch hunt, you just have to care about the safety of the spaces that you're in. And to the other creators watching this, staying silent when you know something is wrong, it doesn't make you neutral. It just leaves vulnerable people unprotected. You don't have to make a drama video, but you do have a responsibility to set boundaries with the communities that you lead, and to be honest about what you will and what you won't support. This has been Celestios, and until next time, take care of yourselves, look out for each other, and remember you can always join my Discord server to file a report on a case, and demand better from the spaces you spend time in. Goodbye, everyone.